Hey everybody, welcome in. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones, and man, I am so glad y'all are here tonight. Yes, I've noticed, I know y'all are probably going to make a comment. I am super red right now. I've been at the lake all day, so I'm a little bit sunburned, and yes, my skin will be turning different shades of red throughout the shows tonight. Okay, so just want to go ahead and warn everybody. Because I know there are going to be comments because I am super, super fried right now. Okay, so as far as my skin goes, otherwise things are amazing. Gosh, you guys, we have such a wonderful show tonight. I have my buddy Javier Morales here in the studio tonight of CRYPTID559 out in California. And my goodness, I know if you guys have been following my channel for a while and my shows at Spaced Out Radio, you guys know Javier and have seen him. He's come to join me a couple of times to talk about his Dogman experiences and pterodactyl sighting. Okay, so all sorts of lots of cryptids. Okay, so we are going to be talking about Lycans, werewolves, dogmen, but we have other cryptids to talk about, and he takes reports around his area, which covers a couple of different, like at least 3 different national parks, probably more, and so we've got a lot to discuss tonight. Okay, so you guys go get your popcorn, buckle up, and settle in, because we are going to go down another rabbit hole tonight and get some real life encounters out in California on the West Coast tonight. We're on the hunt. Okay, and it's a beautiful Saturday night. And so if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows, please go to my website, and you guys can find links to all of my shows that I do, all the events that I'll be at, and all the links to all my social media sites are all there on my website. And if you need to send me a message or something, there's a little box that pops up. Y'all send me a message there, okay? And I'll try my best to get back. I'm horrible at it, but I'll try, okay? But thank y'all so much for that. Also, if you'd like to support my work, I have a Patreon. That's the Cryptid Huntress over on Patreon. Shout out to all my members. You guys rock. And I have a shop where you get free merch, Cryptid Hunters merch, with purchase if you buy anything out of my shop. It's called War Woman Goods over on Etsy. Okay, so, and I sold Native American vintage jewelry. Okay, there. So thank you for all your support. Okay, well, let's get to our show tonight, and let's get to our guest. Okay, I have Javier Morales here. He's with CRYPTID559. CRYPTID559 is a group who is intrigued by cryptozoology. They share their experiences of cryptids and UFO encounters and explore and investigate the Central San Joaquin Valley, searching for cryptids and UFO evidence and much more. They're about 30 minutes east of Fresno, California, just in case if you were wondering. And they're near Yosemite National Park, Sequoia National Park, and Kings Canyon National Park. Now, if you live in that area and if you have any kind of sighting or you would like to talk to someone about your sighting, please get in touch with Javier. You guys can contact him at cryptid559@gmail.com. You will remain anonymous. Okay, you can remain anonymous if you want. They never give out any of your information. So please help me welcome to the show tonight, my buddy Javier. Hey there.
Hi. Hey, Jessica.
Hey.
Thanks you for having us on. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat and everybody else who's watching.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks for being here. We always have a really cool conversation every time I bring you on the show. And it's because you have so many amazing experiences and you get a lot of really cool evidence. And I don't know, you live in such a hot spot, right?
Yeah, it's a hot spot area. It has a little bit of everything, you know, UFO sightings, cryptid sightings, just a little bit of everything here. It's almost like a Skinwalker. I say like a Skinwalker Ranch, you know, like they have a little bit of everything happening. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing out here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like with my team down here in the South. We have the Skinwalker Ranch of the South that my team researches. And so between you and I mean, we can say pretty confidently that we have like Skinwalker ranches all over the country, because I'm in the Southeast, you're on the West Coast. Skinwalker Ranch is in the middle of the country, almost Southwest kind of. So they're everywhere. Okay, just places of high strangeness. Now you cover at least 3 national park areas, right?
Yes, they're about Yosemite's about 2 hours north of us. Sequoia's about an hour east of us, and Kings Canyon's about an hour east of us also.
Okay. Well, I recently did a couple of shows on the missing persons clusters and even the cryptid connection to these missing persons clusters in our national parks. Now, are you familiar with, I'm sure you're familiar with it, okay, with the missing persons clusters with David Politis's research on missing
Yes,
411? Okay,
yes.
oh, okay, do you have any kind of reports or any kind of, what is your opinion on all of that? And do you think the cryptids could be connected?
It's a possibility. The cryptids could be connected. UFOs, abductions. Could be Sasquatch. Could be Dogman. Could be other cryptids that we haven't even seen or heard about yet. Reptilians. Sometimes the reptilians come out.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, I've heard some of the reports of the missing people. Yosemite is a big cluster. Okay, I think that was like the number one in the U.S. is the Yosemite National Park. I think that's a huge cluster of missing people there, and yeah, every year I hear about missing people going missing in Yosemite. Also, Kings Canyon National Park, Sequoia National Park. Every year we hear about some people hikers going missing. Um, but yeah, it happens, and I believe it is connected. There's something going on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what would you say? Because I know from down here in the South, we have more Bigfoot activity than just about anything in our national parks. Okay, the ones that I research at least, Bigfoot and UFOs and ETs. Okay, that's the majority of what I've researched. Okay, what about over there where you live? Is it mostly Bigfoot, or are you getting like dogmen and stuff
Uh,
too?
our my dogman encounter happened down in the valley here in the valley floor. It wasn't up in the national parks, so all our experiences are happening here in the valley floor. It's not even up in the national park. So that being said, I mean, there could be dogman up in there. I haven't heard anybody tell me about an encounter up in the national parks of a dogman in our area. But even I know Sasquatch is up there. I've heard encounters of other, that I've talked to people and they've told me that they've seen Sasquatch up in the national parks, but also down in the valley floor. So they're up, they're all over this place. Also, I heard, Adolf right there in the comments there. My buddy
Yeah.
Adolf, he's had an alien encounter up in the near Yosemite National Park. So he's had an abduction type scenario there. Um, my uncle up in Kings Canyon National Park, he experienced what he said with where he encountered the grays, tall grays, when he was up hunting, and that's a story we can talk about if you want. But yeah, I mean, I hear
Sure.
more about UFO up in the hills.
Oh wow. You said that was your uncle?
Yeah, my
Okay,
uncle.
3 I will I wanna hear a little bit more about that because it
Okay.
actually aligns with a lot of what we encounter here in the national some of the national parks, some of the places that I research, a lot of UFO and ET activity. But when we're having Bigfoot activity, by the way, okay, I'm not saying it's completely connected, but it's kind of in the environment
Okay.
sometimes when we're having Bigfoot activity.
Oh, and I have another story about that connects to Sasquatch with the alien. So there was my uncle that actually had this encounter with the tall grays. He told me about another encounter of his friend. If you want, I'll go ahead and talk about that one real quick.
Yes, yes.
He hadn't seen this friend, his hunting buddy, for a while, and he met up at a meeting that they were having down here on the valley floor. And he saw him and said, "Hey, how's it going? Have you been hunting?" And he goes, "Yeah, but the last time I went up to this place called Courtright Reservoir." He said that I went up there early in the morning. Now this is my uncle's friend telling him. I went up early in the morning, about 5 in the morning, before the sun came up, and I was positioned. I was fishing, so I casted my rod, and so he was there, and it was still dark. It was him. He didn't see anybody else around, and all of a sudden he notices an orb in the sky, a big bright orb, and it comes shooting down, and it goes into the lake, into the reservoir. It shoots down into the lake, and he can see the light underneath the water, and he's just tripping out, man. He was telling my uncle, he's just, I was just there staring at it, and it went down in the middle of the lake, and you can see the brightness underneath the water. And then all of a sudden, I hear boom, boom from behind me, and tree snaps and all this, and I'm hearing like something big is coming out of the forest behind me, like 20 yards behind me. And he was just like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, he said about 50 yards down to my left, this giant, he called it a giant, human person, a giant came out of the forest. And he picked up this huge boulder and threw it where the light was in the lake. And he goes, I'm watching this, and I'm not, I'm already scared. He said, I was scared. I left everything there. I silently backed out of there, got in my truck, and took off. I left everything.
I mean, imagine seeing something that was like a giant Bigfoot, just anything that's huge, a bipedal humanoid picking up a boulder and tossing it in the lake. You know what? It didn't toss it at him, though. I guess that's a good thing. It didn't hit him. If it wanted to hit him, it probably could have.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. He says it didn't even. He goes, he said he was backing out of there. He goes, I was probably making noise, but this giant thing didn't care. It was more concentrated on the light in the lake. Like it didn't want it there. It threw a big boulder at it. Like, yeah, so I don't know.
Maybe it was protecting him. Maybe there was something worse in the area, and it was trying to get him out of there to help him. I'm just saying, who knows?
And I have a theory that the Sasquatch are also being abducted, in my opinion. And a lot of these, they probably don't like the aliens. They probably have a battle of some sort, because they're getting abducted, and people are seeing them being dropped off when they're connected with the UFOs. Maybe they're getting dropped off again, and they don't even know where they're getting dropped off, and they're like acting all crazy because they don't even know where they're at.
Yeah, that's an absolute probability. And my team has actually had an encounter. Let's just say, like, this was during a remote viewing session, live on site. Okay, and there was a case where there were actually ETs were there. The Bigfoots were there because they were actually working for the aliens. Okay, so in one of these remote viewing sessions that the guys did on site, they were actually, the Bigfoots were being, I guess they could go eat after, and they were the type of Bigfoots that were just always hungry and looking for food. Okay, they weren't like the ones that are like super telepathic, intelligent, like not to say they're not intelligent, but I'm just saying they were more of the like primitive type, I guess. Okay. Let's just call them primitive. Okay. And so they were actually being used by the aliens to go, every now and then they had to go hit a button on this control panel that was kind of disguised as a tree stump. Okay, and whenever they would hit that button, they could go eat. Okay, so that was in one of these sessions that some of the guys did, okay, on my team. So I think that they are probably abducted by the ETs, maybe so. I think that they probably work for the ETs in some capacity. There is a connection, though. We just don't really know what it is.
Right. Yeah, and also the same thing with Dogman. I think they get abducted too. The ones that are native to this area or the land here, that have been here before us. I think they also get abducted, and same thing with the Sasquatch, But I think they're more aggressive, and of course they're probably hybrids of them now. If the aliens are doing experiments, and stuff like that, there's probably hybrids of Sasquatch now and hybrids of Dogman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's hybrids of everything. Okay, I think human hybrid, everything. Dogman hybrids. I don't know. I mean, I was actually watching a video on the cynocephaly. Okay, before the show started tonight, and looking at the history of the dog-headed men, and going back before. I mean, they were actually listed on old world maps alongside unicorns and blemmies and dragons and stuff. And there's very well documented, actually, very well documented. They had their own communities. Look at Saint Christopher, the dog-headed saint. Ancient Egyptian deities and gods, with dog heads, jackal heads. Yeah. So I don't know. Our history has been hidden from us. Okay,
Yep.
and we're made fun of for even talking about it. Some people, I don't care if I'm made fun
Right.
of for it,
Yeah.
because you yourself have actually encountered an actual, what looked like a, I don't want to say a dog-headed man, but a humanoid
Yeah, it
thing
looked
with
like
a dog
yeah,
head, right?
yeah, it was like the Van Helsing werewolf. I mean, that's what it looked like. But this thing was massive. It was muscular, all muscle, and it was about at least 8 to 10 feet tall, at least, and all muscle. Like I said, human body. Up, the legs are human, the chest, the arms are human, hands. It had claws on the ends and the fingertips. You can see the claws. The chest was at least 4 to 5 feet wide, and then its back went down to a V shape, all the way down to its. I mean, this thing was massive, and it was very muscular and fast and stealthy at that. It didn't make it sound at all as it was running, along this ridge on all fours. It was running on all fours along this ridge, and then it stopped in a certain spot, and then it rose its arms up, and I saw all its back, and it grabbed onto the side of the hill there, and then it leaped up, and that's when I could see the thighs, I could see the calves, human legs. I couldn't see the feet. Um, I didn't see a tail, but I did see what it resembled ripped shorts, like a werewolf. It looked like it had ripped shorts on. And then it did it again. It grabbed the side of the hill, and then it leaped up again, and then it crawled on all fours, low to the ground, real fast over the ridge. And,
Okay,
and yeah.
okay, ripped red shorts. All right, so
Oh yeah,
so what
ripped
in
just shorts. Just ripped shorts, not red.
so
Just
oh, just ripped shorts. Okay, so
yeah.
but that, so that would actually kind of lean towards that being more of like a werewolf or a lichen, and that's what I put as the title of the show tonight. It was about lichens and the West Coast lichens,
Yeah.
because what you experienced was probably not just a dog man. I think it was more like a lichen, right? Or a
Yeah,
werewolf.
and see, and people ask me, was you couldn't have been a skinwalker? Well, I don't know. I mean, skinwalker. I mean, yeah, it's all native ground. There's a native burial ground about 10 miles east of where I saw the Dogman, but I don't know if skinwalkers get that big. I don't know. The way I saw it, it did have pointy ears. It had a long snout. It had the canines. And it had a dog head on it, but um I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know if they get that big. Skinwalkers get that big.
I don't know. It's really big. Um, I don't know if skinwalkers would get that big. That's right, because skinwalkers are basically, or as some of my friends like to call them, S walkers. Okay, S walkers. Because you don't want to say their name too many times, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
exactly.
we
Yeah.
don't. And listen, I'm actually going on a dog man adventure. Okay, here coming up. I can't say when, where.
Oh,
I can
come
say what
on.
to though. Yeah, there's like five of us going, but we're going deep, deep, deep in the woods,
Oh, wow.
somewhere around, maybe it's in the south here. Okay, I don't know if
Okay.
they want to give the exact. We're not giving the exact location away, but
Yeah, don't go there.
it's
Don't go.
wild. Yeah, we're doing a couple of nights out in the
Okay.
middle of nowhere, hiking in for miles. With
Wow.
all we're gonna have is what we have on our backs, and we're gonna bivouac. And yeah, it's a place where two of the guys just recently were out there, and they didn't think they were gonna make it out alive.
Really?
So guess what? We're going. We're going back. Okay, and I'm going to go with them.
All right.
So yeah. So, but here's the thing: this area is known for, let's just say, S walkers. Okay,
Okay. All right.
it's known for S walkers. Okay, it's known for dogmen, and it's known for Sasquatch.
Okay.
Okay, and it may be on. I think it is a national forest. I think there's a national forest. Okay, I think it's on federal land there, which is not surprising. Okay,
Yeah.
not at all. But when it comes to the size, okay, so the S walkers, as we're going to call them,
Uh-huh.
those are just humans basically that have
Right.
transformed, putting on through black magic, putting on an animal skin. Okay, so they're going to be like generally a human size, but
Exactly.
then like a werewolf, they can get gigantic, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that they have the more of a, they're more skinny. They're not very muscular like what I saw. This thing was like a bodybuilder, wrestler type body, It was huge. It was
Wow.
huge. And then And then I had another encounter. I don't know if I ever talked to you about that one. Another, I guess I'm gonna say it's a dogman, but it was a different type of a canine, and this one was in the day, and it was at another location. This one's actually just east of Clovis, California. It happened just east of, just on the outskirts of Clovis, California, and I'm not gonna say the exact location, but me and another buddy of mine, Alan, from that lives up in Clovis area, he told me about this area that they had found some goats back when they were investigating a possible dogman case, and he wanted to show me the area, and I go, yeah, well, just go ahead. And so we went out there. He was showing me the area. When we got to this area, it's a busy road. Okay, it goes right into Clovis. It's a busy road, and it's right off the road. So it's a bunch of eucalyptus trees. So I call it Eucalyptus Island there. And on the other side of the road is citrus orchard. It's a citrus orchard. So so we park, we get down, and I'm recording. Actually, did a video later, a couple of weeks later. But anyways, so we get down and we're walking around, and I'm looking at the area, and I see what looks like structures, like Sasquatch structures, like leaners and tree limbs and all this stuff. And I'm getting a feeling that I need to go to the opposite side of that island of eucalyptus. I need to go to the. I'm getting pulled. I don't know. It's just weird. It was just like a feeling that I had that I needed to go to the other side. So I tell my friend Alan, I go, dude, I'm getting pulled to go to the other side of this area. He goes, okay, well, let's go. So we go over there to the other side, and I'm looking around trying to find any prints or anything because there's like a little reservoir, and it was kind of muddy. So if there was going to be prints, it would have been, you would see them. And I'm looking around, we're both looking around, and I don't see anything. So then I cross the street to the other side where the citrus orchard is, and the reservoir continuing under the road. So I'm looking at the mud and trying to find prints. And then all of a sudden, I'm walking down the street that facing the orchard. I see this. I thought it was a coyote at first. On the avenue on the on the outskirts of the orchard, there's an avenue, and this thing was out there on all fours looking at me. And it was about 50 yards away from me, and I'm looking at it. And first of all, I thought it was a coyote. And then I'm looking at it, and no, it had a big head. It had a skinny body, but it had hair, and the hair was orange, yellowish. Okay, and it was on all fours. And then I'm noticing the citrus tree next to him or her, whatever it is, and it's on all fours, and it's about halfway up the citrus tree. And the citrus tree is about, I want to say it was about 7 to 8 feet tall. So this thing on all fours was already halfway the height of the citrus tree, and I'm looking at it, it's like, dude, this is not no coyote. So then I tell Alan, do you see that? You see that? I'm pointing at it. Do you see it? He goes, no, I can't. What are you looking at? Well, come over here. I'm telling you, come over here. So when I look back, it had turned around. So now I'm seeing the back end of it. It had no tail. Like a coyotes have a puffy tail. They had no tail, but I can see it was on all fours, real skinny, big head. Like I said, it had a big head, and then it walked all funky, like multi-jointed, back into the orchards. And I told my buddy, did you see it? He goes, no, I didn't get to see it. I go, dude, I don't know what that was. I don't know what it was. And then actually I told him, before it turned around, it went up like this, like it moved its head up and down, like when it was staring at me. And I told him, and my buddy said, well, you know what it was trying to do, right? And I go, no, what? It was trying to get your scent. It's trying to get your scent. I go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So I went back into the orchard. Then we started hearing stuff coming closer to us from the orchard. You can hear tree snaps, you can hear shuffling, but we just couldn't see it. And then all of a sudden, I just started feeling sick. I got a headache. I started tasting metal in my mouth, and my buddy also, he started getting a headache. And I told him, dude, I'm not feeling well. And he said the same thing. He started, I'm not feeling good either. And then I started saying a prayer in my mind. I said a prayer of protection. and then it kind of relieved. It went away. And, I said in Jesus' name and this and that, and then it went away, all the headache and everything else. But then you can hear stuff shuffling, getting closer to us, and I can feel like something was there, and my friend was all feeling it too, and he can hear it. So we started walking back to the van. Whatever this thing was, I had bad vibes because we can feel it. And then all of a sudden, I got the headache again, and I was tasting metal in my mouth again. And it's like, and then I did that prayer again, and it went away for a little bit. I go, dude, we got to go because something's attacking us either spiritually or something's going on here. It's not good. So yeah, we ended up just getting back in the van and we took off. But yeah, I don't know. But it looked like a canine to me, but I don't know what type of canine. I mean, I don't know if it's a different type of dog, man. I don't know what that was.
I mean, I've never personally seen a coyote without a tail. Not to say they don't. I mean, they could have had their tail cut off, or or torn off in a fight or something. I mean, who knows, but knowing the history of the area, see, that's why it's so important for, like my teams, especially, like we research the same areas over and over again. Okay.
Right.
These same, and it may not be the same exact spots, but it's the same region, same area. So we know the lay of the land. Okay. We know the animals that are out there. We know it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when something's out of place, we recognize it.
Exactly.
And that's like you. That's what happened with you.
Yeah. And Rob, I want to answer Robin's question there. Yes, where I had my Dogman encounter, that's actually next to the Kings River. Okay. It was by a river. It's the Kings River. My friend Adolf had the same Dogman encounter just about half a mile down the river about a year later. He saw the same thing I did, kind of. It was Dogman. He had a Dogman encounter in the same, and that was early in the morning for him. The other one, the other dog, well, I want to say it was a canine, some sort of dog, man. That one was not next to a water. It was just this eucalyptus island citrus orchard, but it was not near a canal or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Adolf, I messaged with him yesterday. He's in the chat tonight. What's up, Adolf? Adolf said that I asked him to come on the show too. So he's gonna be joining me next month. Okay, here on the channel. Yeah, so we're gonna have Adolf here, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to sit down with him and hear about some of his experiences, because I did watch that documentary that he did.
You did? Okay.
I did. Yes, and so yeah, I'll be sending out the link to that. I want everybody to check that out, especially even before he comes on the show too.
Yeah.
So amazing. We got Brown Dwarf in the chat. What's up, Brown Dwarf?
Hey, Brown Dwarf.
He said maybe he'll tell us about Avocado Lake too. So I know we touched on that before when you were on my show at some point, and that place is a place of high strangeness.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of encounters there. UFO. If you go to MUFON's page, and you go to the map, their map that they have on there, and you go to Central California, look up Avocado Lake. There's a huge cluster of UFO sightings. There's a huge cluster there, just over that whole Avocado Lake area. And Avocado Lake is about, I'm going to say, like 5 minutes just south of where I had my Dogman encounter. And actually where Adolf had his encounter, Avocado Lake is, he had his encounter behind Avocado Lake of the Dogman. And then there was a family of Sasquatch that's been seen out there also. Yeah.
That's really cool, seeing a whole family of Sasquatch. You don't get those reports very often. Okay. I would love to take a report of an entire family of Sasquatch. That would be something. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But nonetheless, high strangeness. There was something else that I was wanting to ask you about, and I forgot. I was going to bring this up before we went live. You had mentioned something about Helltown. Was that Helltown?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about that, and I forgot. It just popped in my head because we probably should have kind of added that to the show title tonight, because I really want to hear about Helltown. Now, have you been there before? And can you tell me kind of what Helltown is?
I've never been there, and
okay.
It's I think it's in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Ohio. It's like
Ohio is a place of a lot of Dogman sightings in Ohio, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. No, Jessica, it's a strange. what happened there is very similar to Stranger Things, the show. I don't know if you're familiar with Stranger Things, the
Oh,
series.
of
So
course. I was up at, I took a trip to Montauk, New York last year, and with Long Island Bigfoots in the chat tonight,
okay.
and some Montauk survivors who that show was actually based off of them and their
Oh, okay,
experiences.
okay,
So I'm
okay.
friends with some of those people actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
very
So
familiar.
see, I was thinking it was more connected to Helltown, but okay,
Yeah, it
because
could
it
be.
reminds me it
Yeah,
reminds me of Stranger Things in a way because the government came in overnight and evacuated the whole town. Everybody had to leave. They evacuated the whole town, and they just told the property owners that they were making it a national park. And but people left everything. They left overnight. They had to leave their stuff. It's like it's not. It didn't make sense. What was going on? Something happened in that area. People say that there was this creature out there that was in the forest and that was killing people. And people were going missing. But they played it out that they were gonna make it all national park, which I think they ended up doing. But now that I'm into this and doing research, a lot of these places that, well, in my area, okay, in our area, I've noticed that our hotspot areas are very close to um, quarries, rock quarries, and they're very
yes,
and they're
yep,
very
that's
close
you.
to wildlife preservation areas.
Oh yeah, wildlife management areas. Yeah, those are
Hmm.
some of my favorite places to go look for tracks and stuff,
Hmm.
or WMAs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I mean, they're posted here that we can't even go in there. I mean, you're not supposed to go in there in these wildlife preservation areas. We can't go in there. It's off limits. But
Well, a lot of times the gates are closed and they're locked. Okay, so I actually went this week. Okay, because I do a lot of I go in the woods a lot. Okay, take my kid and we go look for tracks and stuff. And this week, for some reason, all the gates were shut and locked. It's some of the WMAs that we go to.
okay,
Wildlife management area. So I don't know why. I was like, it's the middle of the summer, so they're not burning. They're not doing controlled burns. Usually I would say, oh, they're just doing a control burn. But this week, and I don't think it's a holiday, not that I know of.
Father's
Okay.
Day.
It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, by the way. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
Father's Day. But it was at the beginning of the week. So it was kind
Oh,
of
okay.
weird. It was
Hmm.
weird. Okay.
See,
I
you
had to
would
hike
notice.
in it.
Yeah, you would notice that 'cause that's your area. You would notice it.
Yeah.
Thumbs off. Yeah.
Something was off. We have
Hmm.
a high concentration of like Bigfoot sightings and stuff down there, and Dogman and UFOs where I
Yeah.
was. Yeah. So maybe there had been an uptick. Speaking of upticks, I was covered in ticks when I left.
Oh no.
Upticks and ticks. Yeah. I'm actually itching thinking about it right now. My son, myself, and my dog, we were all covered in ticks, like
Oh,
really bad. Yeah.
mm.
So they're out there, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get sprayed down. I spray myself down when we go out there. I don't want none of that. Nope.
No, no. I had to go to the vet and get my dog a flea and tick pill, okay? Because
Oh,
I
man.
was like, we're gonna get rid of these now. Yeah, it was bad. But yeah, it is suspicious why uh our national federal lands like that, like they should be open to the public for us to go enjoy. They're
Mhm.
closed and locked.
Yep.
Yeah,
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 they are.
yeah. It
Um,
happens more than not too, a lot of times. But yeah, in the middle of the summer, I would think they should be open.
right.
So
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about my uncle's? Well, he told me his encounter with the tall grays.
absolutely. Yes, I'm
All right.
dying to hear that one for
Okay,
sure.
so that one, he was up at Kings Canyon National Park, and he said he was going hunting. So it was him and my aunt, and they were just gonna go for. He was gonna stay. He was gonna go for the day, hunt during the day, and then sleep over. Stay the night, and then come back the next day. Okay, so anyway, so they go. Him and my aunt go early in the morning. They get up to this park area. I forgot the name of that campground area where he went. But anyways, they get there. They go early in the morning. They get there. They park. My aunt stays at the campground. There's nobody else around. My uncle goes off into the woods. He goes, gonna go hunting. So my aunt stays behind, and she's prepping for to start lunch and stuff like that. So, anyways, my uncle gets back, and I believe it was like after lunch time. He gets back into the campground. He didn't find anything. He wasn't able to shoot anything. Then he noticed another group of guys arrive at the campground, and it was three guys, three hunters, and they parked a ways down from him. So, anyways, my aunt got lunch ready. So they were eating, and then one of the guys from the group of three comes over and asks, "Hey, can we borrow some salt or something like that?" They wanted to borrow something, and he said, "Yeah." And they were asking, and then they started talking to my uncle. "Did you go hunt?" And he was telling them, "Yeah, but I didn't see anything." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Yeah, we're gonna go hunt, but we're gonna go tomorrow. We're gonna probably end up staying. We're gonna stay about 3 nights here." And they were telling my uncle, and he goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna leave early in the morning. We're gonna take off." So my uncles told them. So they said, "Okay," and that was the end of it. That he went his way, and then my aunt and uncle, they ate. By that time, it was already getting dark. So then they wrapped it up, and they just slept in the bed of the truck. And my uncle says that he went to bed, and he had a little blanket. But he says at one point at night, he felt the blanket being pulled down.
Did they? Can I
So
wait? I don't mean to interrupt. Did they have a cover over the bed, or was it just
no,
open?
open.
Oh no, I don't know about that. I'd have to at least leave a tent. Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
I just know I'd wake up with like a Bigfoot breathing in my face.
Well,
I
let me
already
say,
know it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say, my uncle doesn't believe in any of this alien, Bigfoot. He doesn't believe in none
Okay.
of that because he
Oh, he
says
he used to not, huh? Or does he?
he
Does he
goes,
now?
yeah, well, yeah, because he goes hunting, he never sees nothing, and this and that. Okay, well, this
Okay.
particular night, so this he felt the blanket being pulled down, so he remembers opening his eyes and looking down to his feet, and then he says that he saw three tall grays staring at him and my aunt. Matt and my uncle couldn't move. He could just move his eyes. He was trying to move and he couldn't move. He said, my eyes were open. I can look to the side where your aunt was and she was asleep. She was there, but she was asleep. And I was trying to wake her up and my arms wouldn't move. I couldn't move. But these things were at the end of the bed by my feet and there were tall grays. It was like the ones on TV. They were like the ones on TV they show on TV. The big eyes and the gray big head. And there was three of them. And then I go, okay, and then what happened next? And he goes, well, then I don't remember. He goes, I fell back asleep, I guess, because the next thing I remember, I woke up and it was already the sun was already up and your aunt was already picking up the stuff too, so we can get going. And I told her, hey, and then I looked over to the other side where the group of three guys were parked. He said nobody was around. Not the ones that were going to stay for 3 days, they were not around. And he asked my aunt, what happened to the guys that were the other hunters? He goes, I don't know. I woke up and nobody was here. So I don't know if those were the grays, those three guys were the grays,
Well,
or something happened to them too that night. Then they took off.
oh man, that's my guess would be maybe they got spooked and left. They got
That's what
scared.
I. Yeah, that's what I
Something
think.
happened. They woke up and they're like, all right, that was a weird dream. Let's get out of here.
And my uncle was telling my aunt, did you experience anything last night? She goes, no. She goes, well, he told her what happened, and she was like, wow, I don't know. He said, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, I go out there for those experiences. Okay, I really do. And I know that sounds wild to the normal person, but we're out there for the full experience when we're out in the field. Okay. I have not been approached by ETs while I was sleeping out in the field that I remember. Okay. But I have at my house. Okay. They did follow me home at some point. And I have, and it's not fun. I had almost an identical encounter with ETs twice. Okay. In my room where I woke up and I couldn't move very well, but I had been training in remote viewing and like mind control, and I knew what to do to see if I was awake or if I was asleep. And I did it, and I was totally awake. Okay, I was totally awake, and I was able to get my body to start moving actually from some of the exercises that I had learned to do. So it was a very real thing. Okay, and I believe him. Okay, did you say that he does believe in ETs now?
Well, he kind of does now.
Yeah.
But before he didn't. He doesn't believe in Bigfoot. He didn't believe in none of that.
Oh my
Nope.
gosh. Yeah, sleep paralysis is not fun at all. Especially when you have a monster, or I'm not calling ETs monsters, but you have something that's not supposed to exist standing over you or beside you or just looking at you. Okay, it's what is my buddy Kenny calls it nightmare fuel. Okay, nightmare fuel,
Nightmare fuel. Yeah.
and that's the truth. It is nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
But once
And
again, oh, go ahead.
I had a sleep paralysis when I was let me see here, a teenager. Actually, I had an incident. We used to live out in the country,
Yeah.
um, and and it was around noonish. I was taking a nap, and all I remember is my mom was in the kitchen. It was around noon. She was making lunch. My room was next to the kitchen, so I could hear her. She was in there, and I woke up and I had the pillow. I was facing up, but I had the pillow on my face, and I had this something. This heaviness was on top of me, and it was trying to suffocate me with the pillow. I could
Mhm.
not see. I could not see anything on me, but I can feel the weight, like it was pushing down, and I could not move my my arms or my legs. I could not move. My eyes were open. I was trying to yell to my mom through the pillow, but of course she's not going to hear it. And then I tried to calm down, so I ended up calming down, and then I said a prayer in Jesus' name, and then I was able to move. After that, I was able to move my right arm. So I ended up sticking two fingers between the pillow and my mouth, and that's when I was able to get oxygen. Now, once I got oxygen, everything everything like fell off. The pillow went off, the heaviness went away, and I was able to get up.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I don't know, man. Out there in the orchard, that's where we my whole family encountered the two black triangles. Also, we had an encounter with those back in the late '80s out in that area. I don't know.
Triangular craft like UFOs?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's our government triangular graphs, but these were two huge triangles next to each other, and me and my family saw it. We all got off the car. Um, They hovered right over us. They went really slow right over us, two of them heading towards the Sequoia National Park. And you know what's on the other side of these hills is Area 51 on the other side. So they were going in that direction now that I think about it. And yeah, there were triangles on each tip of the triangle. It was a red light, it was a white light, and in the center it was a huge red light on both of these crafts. Both of them were the same. And we got off the vehicle. It was out in the country, so there wasn't traffic around, so it was quiet. And we were just observing them going over us really slow, and they were really low. They were really low, and no engine sound, nothing, stealth. And you can see them black out the stars as they went over. You can see the shape of it because it blacked out the stars.
Oh my god. Oh wow.
And then
Okay, so
I'm sorry, my mom,
no, go ahead.
after that encounter, she said that for 3 consecutive nights she had nightmares. Well, she called it a nightmare, but for her it felt real that she was hovering above. She would wake up hovering above the bed with this red light on her, and it happened for 3 consecutive nights.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you've been experiencing high strangeness since you were young, for sure. Do you feel like maybe you've been on the frequency? Maybe something put you in that frequency to where you're having a lot of these experiences today as an adult?
You know that where we used to live out in the country, it was in the middle of a citrus orchard. And the house was inside a citrus orchard, okay? Acres of citrus all around, nobody else around. And it was next to a creek, but that creek didn't have water all year round. Only certain times of the year it had water. And then there was these huge power lines going along the near the house. So there was electrical lines coming from the mountains down through that area. And I know sometimes they're, the paranormal world, they affiliate that with the paranormal, with the ghost, they use the energy and this and that. But yeah, I mean that whole area was we experienced a lot of stuff. My mom experienced a lot of like paranormal activity in that area, in that house also.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, okay. The power lines. Okay, you mentioned the power lines. A lot of Bigfoots are spotted near the power lines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something. My buddy Tyler down in Florida got a great video of a Bigfoot running down where the power lines go down in Florida. So Tyler Howell, I think is the last name. Okay. But yeah, okay. Thank you, Ms. Lenny, so much for becoming a channel member. I just wanted to say, give you a big old shout out tonight. Thank you for becoming a channel member here. Okay, so this has been going on for a while. You having all these experiences, and I wanted to ask you about that one experience, because I saw this on your YouTube channel, and I haven't really talked to you about this, not on air especially. But what about the apparition that you saw a couple of months ago? What was up with that? Was that at the orchard as well?
Okay, so that one was near Pictograph Mountain. It's I'm gonna say about a half a mile away from Pictograph Mountain. Um, so this particular evening, it was me, my cousin Jose, and we went out to one of my other friends' house because he lived out in the country, and they were supposed to be having some military drills that night. Um, from Fresno, that we have the 144th Fighter Wing that's stationed up in Fresno, and they were supposed to be doing some drills up in the sky at night. So we wanted to see that. So we went out to his place because you go out of the city, you can see better, right? So we went out to his place. I called him up. Hey, we're gonna go out. Just gonna do some sky watching. Told him what's going on. He goes, yeah, sure, come on over. So we went. We parked along the road. So his house is off. It's about a ways away from the road. So there's no light out there. So it's all dark. So when we parked, it was along the road. And it was all dark. So he came up and met us up by the road, and we were just talking. And what ended up happening was it got cloudy that night, so we weren't able to see anything. So we can hear like helicopters and stuff like that, but we couldn't see them. So I guess they were above the cloud cover. So, anyways, we started talking, and all of a sudden, I hear feet shuffling, and we all go quiet. We stop talking, all three of us, and we're hearing this noise like shh, 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 and then we notice that it's coming across the road from us, and I was facing down that road, and I didn't see anybody, and all of a sudden there's this lady, it looked like a lady, across from us on the road. She had long black, what looked like wet hair, like the Grudge, but I couldn't see the face, but it was all wet and long. I couldn't see the upper body. I can see what looked like white pants. I couldn't see the feet, like the shoes, but it was making noise, so it was walking. And then I'm saying it's a lady. She was carrying like a bag, looked like a bag. Okay, and we couldn't see the face. And my cousin's freaking out. It's like, what the hell? Where'd she come from? And we're whispering, right? At this time, we're whispering.
She
And
came
my
from out of
other,
the well. She crawled out of the well. That's where she came
yeah,
from.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. She came from
I'm
somewhere, the
kidding.
vines or the citrus orchard tree. I don't know, but
Or from a television set. I don't know. She came through the TV. I don't know.
so
No,
yeah,
that's
so
creepy.
so
It's super
yeah, so
creepy.
she, yeah, so she's walking across from us, and now I'm getting some bad vibes. Now it's like, nah, I'm not. This is not feeling right. And then my friend, the one that lives there, was freaking out. He was freaking out. I go, dude, calm down, just hold on. It's like he was freaking. He's like, where'd she come from? Who is she? It's like, what is it? And my cousin and I go, look, just let it. I told him, don't acknowledge it. Don't say anything to it. I mean, I'm getting bad vibes. I don't want to. I don't want to acknowledge it. Just let it do its thing. Let it go. Whatever it's doing, let it go. And so we observed it. So I mean, she walked right across from us. And then once she passed us, she crossed the street and into the orchards. And that was it.
Weird.
It's like,
Oh my
what the
gosh.
heck? It's like, what the hell? And my
Yeah.
friend was freaking out. Like, dude, you brought your bad juju over here. It's like, what are you talking about? I just came to Skywatch out here. I didn't bring nothing.
They're like, where's the nearest well? I swear she crawled out of it. So,
Right?
I mean, there's so many things that could have been. It could have just been a woman, okay, who was
Yeah.
just having she was hot and sweaty and was walking in her white pants. Listen, when I'm out walking around, like out in the woods or in nature, I don't usually wear white pants. I'm just saying, I don't,
Huh?
because I get dirty. Okay, I get really dirty. So, I don't know. It sounds a little odd. Okay, that it'd be like a woman, a sane woman walking around wearing white pants,
Yeah.
out in
And
an
like I s-
orchard with nowhere to go really, just kind of wandering.
yeah.
Um,
And that was just another experience that we've had, and it's like it was bad vibes. I can feel the bad vibes. I go, nah, I'm not asking if it needs help or anything. If it was a lady, I'm not asking it anything. Just let it do its thing. Go. Nope.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Nope.
Robin says Javier is so calm relating these accounts. It's amazing. You know, you know what? That's like, you probably we take this for granted, like how it's kind of normalized to you and I when we have encounters like this, because I've lived a life of high strangeness, and so have you. So we talk about our encounters. It's like, oh, this happened, and we
I
don't
know.
we don't
Yeah.
think about, like, the normal people are like,
Right.
this is
Right.
mind blowing to a lot of people.
And a lot of people have told me, why are you laughing when you're telling your encounters? Well, it's like, dude, it's like, I'm
You're
not
not
laughing
laughing,
because,
crying.
yeah, exactly. It's like, it's just, it happened. I mean, that's just the way I am relating the story. But at that time, I wasn't laughing. It was serious.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's I have to put humor in everything I do. If y'all hadn't noticed, okay, I put a lot of humor in things that I do, and I try to keep it not like inappropriate, okay, but it's just I'm laughing at myself and laughing at my own experiences, because it is kind of wild, okay, it
Yeah.
is wild, and I don't know. I mean, that's how I deal with it. That's how I deal with it, and I mean, we can't take life too seriously. Okay, we really can't, especially when we're out here dealing with monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it's very real. This stuff is
Yep.
very real.
Yeah.
Um, so, and one of the last times that you came on my show, we talked about that really cool picture that you have of it looks like a dogman climbing a fence,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah. That was
you
since,
get
yeah.
reports a lot. Like, people actually contact you and give reports. I mean, and this was a really good one. Okay, it's a good one.
I
I
mean,
have
I
that
see.
picture if you
Oh,
want
do
me to
you?
show it. Can I
Yeah. Go
show it?
ahead.
You
Yeah. Go
don't
for
mind?
it.
Okay.
No. Go ahead.
I wanted to get your permission first, because I had this from the last time we did a show together.
Yeah.
Tell
Let's.
the audience, in case there are people in here who hadn't seen this before. Let's talk about this for a second.
Okay. I see it right away. Some people don't see it, but I see it right away when this particular person sent the photo over. They're asking me, what am I seeing? I encountered this at night. This is the best photo out of 10. My camera wasn't, it was acting up. It didn't want to take a clear photo. This is the best one out of all of them. And again, like, we know, and Jessica, electronics start acting up
Yes.
when cryptids are around. It just happens.
Yeah.
Electronics goes bonkers. They don't want to work right. They don't want to capture an image clearly enough for some reason. I believe that these cryptids have an ability to mess with them somehow. I don't know if it's their energy around them that distorts the frequency of these electronics. It's something.
Something.
But yeah, so she said this was the best photo that she got, and she wanted my opinion. And I go, well, honestly, I've seen this before. To me, it's a dogman. It has that hump on the behind the head, that mange behind the head. That's what I saw when I saw my dogman. It had the same thing. It has the ears, it has that snout, and then the person told me that, well, it's climbing a gate, and then where it's at the very top, that's all barbed wire.
Yeah. And it's going inward, like going in towards the property, right? So it
Right,
was trying to get into the property that was fenced in, because
right.
that's the direction that the barbed wire was bending down towards.
And I can't say where the property is, what it is. I cannot say what it is. But anyways, so she was patrolling the perimeter. Okay, that's all I will say.
So she works. So she was contracted to patrol the area.
Yeah.
Like you could say, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say.
So
Okay.
yeah. So
I'll
then,
assume.
yeah. So she was sending to me. I told her what I thought. To me, it's a Dogman. You can see the arms grabbing onto the fence there, or the barbed wire, whatever it was. You can kind of see the thighs, the legs, and then. But I think it's a juvenile. I think it's a juvenile one. It's a smaller one, or it could be you could be the S walker. I mean, I don't know.
S walker. That's right. It could. I mean, it could be like a human S walker. What we're calling them tonight, with something on its head. It could be that too. I mean, it could be a couple of different things, but it definitely looks dog manish. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I would say that's a pretty freaking cool picture right there. And so that's why I had it on standby in case we ended up talking about it tonight.
That's fine.
Because I think we might have talked about that on Spaced Out Radio. So we weren't here on my channel. So I thought it'd be appropriate. I figured there's a few people that haven't seen that yet. Okay. So.
Yeah, I ended up talking to her a while back, and she told me that one of her co-workers told her, I think it was a month later from when she took that photo, another co-worker of hers told her what he encountered as he was leaving. He was off, it was at midnight, his shift was over, and he was heading home. As he was heading out of the property, he got on the main road. He noticed something on the side of the road, and he said it was, I thought it was a person, crouched down on the side of the road, and so he was going slow. So he's gonna go slow and ask him to see what they're doing, because there's nothing out there, Jessica. There's nothing out there, okay, where this property's at, and he wanted to see if they needed help. But what happened as he was slowing down, this thing got up. It stood up. And then it turned around, and when he said when it turned around, he could see hair on the chest, and he could see patches of area where there was no hair, and then he saw the head. He said it was a werewolf. That's what he told her. It was a werewolf on the side of the road, and I took off. I punched it, and I took off.
Wow.
And she didn't. She never. They had heard about the picture, but he just came up and told her. His encounter, his story, and that was a month after the picture that she took.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a pattern. Okay, it's a pattern. That's two sightings of basically the same looking creature.
There was another one.
Another? Okay.
Yeah, and this one was my cousin, but this one happened about, I'm gonna say, about 15 miles away from the original photo, the photo you just showed. So it was about 15 miles, but it's all in that same area. Okay. And she was heading off to the coast, so she has to go that way. Her and her friend were leaving late at night. I think it was around 10 o'clock when she called me. So she calls me at 10 o'clock at night, and I knew she was going to the coast with her friend. And it was late. So she calls me, and she calls me Jay. She goes, Jay, I just saw something, and I start laughing. And I go, okay, because I knew where she was at. And I go, are you guys okay? She goes, yeah, but I'm serious, because I was laughing. I go, okay, I know you're serious, but I want to know what you saw. And she goes, it was a chupacabra. She told me it's a chupacabra, but I go, no, okay, what did it look like? It's not going to be the chupacabra. She called it chupacabra. Well, she goes, well, my friend's driving, and we got off. We missed our turnout, so we were on this other country road, and we're trying to get back on the main road. So there's nothing out here. It's all dark. But anyways, we're on the road. All of a sudden, on my side, there's something on two legs on the road, and my friend had to swerve to miss it, but I saw it. She goes, it had a dog head on it, and it was skinny. And she almost hit it. And I told her to go back, but she won't go back. It's like, okay, it had a dog head on it. So it's like, okay, I know what.
That is.
Yeah, I go. It's either an S walker or
an S walker.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to start calling Okay, so for people who are just tuning in, we have been saying Skinwalker. Okay, we're trying not to say it as much as we need to. Okay, we're saying S-Walker. Okay, so for anybody who's confused, that's what we're talking about. Okay, we can only say that word so many times. Okay, it's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
And I actually heard that from my buddy William Nighthawk on his show this week. And we got Eric in the chat. Eric Testerman. What's up, Eric? He does a show with William, and I've heard him say S Walker. So I think it's best for me to start saying S Walker too. Okay. Since I'm going to be out in the woods in here pretty soon, I don't want to. I mean, no disrespect. Okay. So, wow. So that's okay. So I said patterns now, and you were at 2 sightings. Now we got 3 sightings. Have there been any more sightings since then?
I haven't heard any more.
Okay.
And that was at the end of last year when that happened, that area.
Okay. All right. Well, Adolf wants you to talk about Snake Road.
Yeah, Snake Road is another road out here. It's about 5 minutes away from where I live. I live in Wheatley. It's about 5 minutes northwest. It's like heading up to Fresno, so it's like in the middle between Wheatley and Fresno. So Snake Road is a high strangeness paranormal hotspot. So it's just a windy road. That's why it's called Snake Road. It's a windy road on the outskirts of Sanger, California, and a lot of people have reported the weeping woman lady, the La Llorona in the Mexican folklore. A lot of reports of her coming out from there. Sasquatch, Dogman, UFOs, a little bit of everything. Power lines are going through that area, so it's probably why it's happening in that area. That area is amplified, but and there's a rock quarry near it. Yeah, so
Quartz. It's
yeah,
quartz.
and
It's a
then
conductor.
and then the Kings River runs through there. So you got energy, you got the quartz, you got water, you got the crystals, granite. There's a lot of granite out here. Yep.
And you got the frequencies and all the EMF and everything from the power lines. It's like CERN almost. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's not
Yeah.
CERN, but it is
Yeah.
like there's some sort of frequency manipulation going on out there, in
Yes.
addition to all the conductors like quartz and stuff. So portals, probably
Yep.
portals everywhere. One gigantic big portal.
Yep.
Probably
That's
a
what we.
bunch.
Yep. And actually, me, Jesus, and Alan, we walked that road at night. It was about I want to say about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We walked a stretch of that road, and unfortunately, Jesus, he got the worst end of it. I don't know if we talked about it last time, but he got, yeah. So we started walking. As soon as we started walking down that road with our cameras and stuff, and this is all dark out there, we heard a whistle. And I remember hearing the whistle. We all heard it. It was loud and echoed throughout the whole area. And it had like a sonar effect to it, like a wave effect to it. And I remember we all turned around from like where we thought it came from. And I remember a baby blue bright light in the sky. Okay. Every time I think of that whistle, in my head, I see an image of a baby blue bright light in the sky. And I don't know, I tell Jesus and I tell Alan that, and I don't know. But anyways, after we heard that whistle, Jesus, he started feeling sick. Okay, he couldn't hold his bowels. Like every 5 minutes, he needed to go restroom. Like maybe even not even 5 minutes, like every minute. Like he would go and come back, and okay, let's start walking, and he had to go again. And then he was feeling like distorted, like disoriented. He wasn't having it, dude. That happened throughout. We had to leave. We had to cut the thing short, and we had to leave because he wasn't feeling it. He just felt disoriented. He felt dizzy. His body wasn't functioning right, and
Yeah.
so we had to go. I remember we had to go to the nearest liquor store so he can go to the restroom. And then we went. He goes, when he came back, he said, "Okay, I feel okay. I'm feeling a little better." So then we went to where we had my Dogman encounter that night. We still went up to that area, but when we got there, he was still feeling it again. it's like, no, I'm not feeling well, dude. I don't know what's going on. So we ended up cutting it. We called it a night. I think by that time it was like 12:30 at night. We dropped my friend off in Clovis, and it's only like 30 minutes from Clovis to Wheatley. So we got back in town about 1 in the morning. I dropped him off. I told him, "Are you sure you wanna? I can take you to the ER if you're not feeling well." He goes, "No, I just let me go home. I'm gonna see if I feel better. If I don't, then I'll have my wife take me." I'm like, okay. So I watched him. He got off. He got in the house. I watched him go inside the house. Okay. So then I took off and I got home. By that time I got home, it was like 2 in the morning. So then I check on him the next day. The next morning, I text him. I actually called him and see how he's doing. And he asked me, "Hey, what time did you drop me off?" I go, "It was about 1:30-ish, between 1:30 and 2 in the morning." He goes, "Dude, I didn't. I got into the room and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and my wife was all mad at me, like, where were you been? And this and that." I go, "Dude, I didn't drop you off at 4 in the morning. I dropped you off at like 1:30, 2 in the morning. So what happened to those 2 hours?" He's asking me. I go, "I don't know. I saw you go in the house, dude." He doesn't. He cannot remember those 2 hours are missing. He has missing time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I mean, obviously something, a good regression might be good for him. Okay, like
Yeah, and I don't think he wants to. He doesn't want to know what happened.
wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of time though. 2 hours is a lot could happen in those 2 hours.
Yeah, and let me tell you, he every time I bring up Snake Road, he's all, "Nope, I'm not going. Nope, uh-uh." It's like, okay, but then we had voice recorders going that night, and I had video camera. So I went back about a week later, and I was reviewing the audio recording. I wanted to hear that whistle again, and you can't hear it. It didn't pick it up, and this thing was loud. I'm telling you, it
Really?
echoed throughout the whole area. And
That's odd.
the voice recorder didn't pick it up. The video camera, you can barely hear it. So I started looping that over and over, and guess what happened to me?
You got
I,
sick?
I got sick. I got sick where I lost my bowels that night. I was dizzy all night. Um, I couldn't stand up. Every time I stand up, I want to fall. I was nauseous, and then it went out through the whole day and even into the evening. And my wife said, "I got to take you to ER if you're not feeling." I go, "No, no, no." And then all of a sudden in the evening, I told her, let me just lay down. So when I laid down, I remember I had to get up because I was gonna throw up. I had that feeling I'm gonna throw up. So I ran to the restroom, and all that I did um, was cough. Nothing came out. And then I remember I said a prayer in Jesus' name, like to get rid of this whatever was going on. Like if it was a negative energy or something negative was happening to me, to get rid of it in Jesus' name. Then I remember I wanted to throw up again, and all of a sudden I just coughed and coughed, and all of a sudden the symptoms were gone, just like that.
It sounds like infrasound. Okay. I know
Yeah,
Eric said ultrasound. I think it's infrasound. Okay.
infrasound. Yeah,
Infrasound. It's like I talk about walking into like an energetic brick wall. Okay, because that's happened to me out in the field where I just could not go past this invisible line. I just couldn't. I knew there was something wrong, and I knew that I felt like my life would be in danger if I kept going, or something. Just something like everything inside of me said, "Don't keep moving forward. Stop." Okay, and I listened to my gut. Okay, and the infrasound has a way of making you very sick. It
yep,
can, and so whatever that was, it affected you in a recording. Okay,
right,
so it wasn't just there live. There's something to that frequency, to that pitch,
yep.
that made you sick.
Made Jesus sick that night, and then I'm
Mhm.
listening to it. Made me sick when I was listening to it.
Oh wow,
It wasn't directed to me, I guess that night it was directed at Jesus. But yeah,
yeah.
but I got myself sick, and I still have that recording. And Jesus goes, "I want to listen to it, dude. We're gonna get sick. I'm not listening to that no more." But I still have it.
Oh yeah. It'd be interesting to have that analyzed. Okay,
Yeah,
by
exactly.
by
But I don't
somebody
want to get
who,
sick.
yeah, somebody who does like who's an audio expert,
Yeah,
who knows the frequencies and the hertz and all that kind of stuff to find out exactly what that is.
right.
And find out like if that came from an animal, okay, or where did it come from? What was that pitch exactly? And Robin says it sounds like radiation sickness. She said those are radiation sickness symptoms. Now we pick up radiation spikes when we have any kind of paranormal activity, cryptid activity, UFO activity, portals, whatever's going on. There's usually a spike of radiation. Do you think
Yeah.
that you guys could have gotten a dose of radiation out there over something?
I don't know. Before we started walking, we drove that stretch of road, and I had my window down, and I heard what was to me was chatter, like two people yelling in that certain area. They were yelling back and forth, but it wasn't words. It was it was chatter, and they were yelling at each other from one end of the road to the other. And then that's when we parked. I told him, dude, there's something here. I don't. It sounds like people, but it's not words. I can't make out the words. It's. I don't know what it is. So that's why we parked there. And then when we got back to the vehicle, there was something on the opposite side of the road in the avenue that we were parked in. But down the avenue, there was this, and I don't know why we don't talk about this. Me and Jesus or Alan, we don't talk about it much. There was this animal. I don't know what it was. It was out in the avenue, and it was like, it was like it
Mm,
was choking. It almost looked like a cow. I go, is that a cow? And we got, I don't know, we even put lights on it, but we don't hardly ever talk about it. And I don't know what that was, but it sounded like it was choking, or I was like, yeah. And then it went back into the orchard. And
okay.
I don't. And then we heard metal clanking, like ting, 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 like metal
Okay.
hitting metal that night too.
Metal. Okay, metal. That's something that I hear when there are people that are giving like Dogman encounters. Okay, uh, especially out like the LBL has this. That's kind of a common occurrence. It sounds like a metal garbage can being dropped on the ground. Okay, like a huge
Okay.
one, like a huge dumpster. Um, some people speculate like maybe it's the doors opening to like an underground facility or closing. Some say, well, maybe that's the sound it makes when a portal's being opened. So I don't know, but the
I don't
metal
know.
clanging, that's weird. It's really odd.
Yeah, it was. We heard it all through the night. It was like ting, 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 ting. You could hear it
Huh. It
all
makes
through
you
the night.
wonder, like, what's going on in that area, and if there's some kind of like underground facility or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just putting it out
Well,
there.
I'm just saying, there's a rock quarry there. What do they have under in that rock quarry? I don't know.
Well, oh yeah, the rock quarry. That's right. Um, wow. Eric actually in the chat was saying that the military uses infrasound weapons. Okay. Uh, let's just say
Yes.
I'm not saying, okay, so we've got missing persons clusters in your areas that you research. Okay. Big missing persons clusters.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was able with that data from that show that I did the remote viewing target, and it's connected. The data is connecting the missing persons to potentially underground facilities. Okay. In some of these areas. So, I mean, there could be some sort of underground military facility, like a deep underground military base there. That could be it could be the culprit for a lot of those sounds. I'm just kind of putting it out there. Okay,
Yeah.
so not saying that's what it is, but it could be. And whenever I have come across some of those things when I'm doing remote viewing targets, there's often some sort of weird laboratories and stuff associated with those dumbs as well, potentially with chimeras and all sorts of weird experiments going on.
Yeah. I'm hearing that word a lot. That chimeras now. I'm hearing that word a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you get any reports of chimeras and
Not,
weird animal human hybrids and stuff like that?
not yet.
Yeah.
Just pterodactyls a couple of days ago. My friend
Ooh.
Alan was saying that there was, I believe he said that two reports had come into him um, along the Kings River. So it's starting to get hot here. So I'm pretty sure people are going to start seeing them here along the Kings River. Yeah. So me and Jesus actually went up to the bridge a couple of nights ago. We hadn't been out in a while, so we wanted to get that feel. We want to start going out there again, see if we capture anything. Even see the pterodactyl like last time, but no, we went out there. It's really dark. The Kings River is really high right now. They're releasing a lot of water, so the Kings River is really high. We did stay there for about 40 minutes, and we are just sky watching. Did see some satellites. But what was funny, let me tell you what happened. So we were there about 40 minutes. So we parked the van and we got off the van, and that's where I had my Dogman encounter. So I had my head on the swivel, right? I had my head on the swivel, like looking everywhere. So and then I do some whistling here and there, see if I can get something, attract something to us. So I whistle here and there, but nothing. So then Jesus, we're sky watching. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say you whistled. That's a big no-no, right? We're not supposed to whistle out in the woods at night.
We do.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, you're out
So
there. You're out there trying to get some action, some activity with
yeah,
the cryptids showing themselves. So, I mean, for you and I, it's cool because we're out there looking for it. Okay, but for the normal person, y'all please don't whistle in the woods. Y'all don't do it. You're not supposed to,
yeah, you're not
unless you want to
supposed
stir something up.
to. Uh-huh. So then we're there, and all of a sudden, Jesus tells me, "Hey, did you hear that?" And I go, "No, what?" It was a whistle. I go, "No, I didn't hear it." So okay, so then a couple minutes later goes by. Hey, did you hear that? He asked me again. The whistle, I heard it again. I go, "No, dude, I don't hear nothing." And he goes, "Dude, I keep hearing a whistle on my side. I keep hearing a whistle." And he told me 3 times. I go, "No, I don't hear nothing. Maybe," he goes, and then he told me, "Well, maybe it's meant for me to hear it and not you." I go, "Well, you know what happened last time we heard a whistle, so you better say, I already had said a prayer of protection before we even got there. I go, you better say something, because if you're hearing something, you better, say a prayer or something for protecting yourself." So then that happened. I go, then we ended up wrapping it up, and he goes, "Let's go to the other side behind Avocado Lake where we used to park, and we used to hear, we used to see orbs, and we used to hear, we used to have a lot of activity in that area." That's where I ended up seeing one time this foot next to this lemon tree trunk, and it looked like a foot. And it when I put the spotlight on it, it moved out of the way. And at one point, and then I heard a growl, and then I ended up taking off. I heard a growl like right next to me, and my cousin didn't hear it. And I go, and that's when I took off, and my cousin was with me that time, and he goes, "Where are you going?" I go, "You didn't hear that loud growl?" He goes, "No, I didn't hear anything." So we've had a lot of experiences there. So anyway, so we go there, and so I had put this LED light on the truck, and I wanted to try it out there. It's all dark, and now I had signal. You know how you have to have signal it's the Bluetooth, so it has to connect to your phone, and you can control it with your phone. So finally we got signal in that area. So I parked. And I had the truck on, and Jesus rolled down the window to his side, so he has an orchard next to him, and it's alongside this road. So I'm over here with my phone messing with the app to control the light. So I finally get it working. So my light is it's a strobe light, or you can put different colors on it, or you can it's I'm messing with the app, and all of a sudden I hear a whistle. I hear, and I go, "What?" Well, I didn't say anything. I look at Jesus because I thought it was him, and he's acting like he's just moving around. And I go, "Okay, maybe he made a sound. It sounded like a whistle." So now I go back to my app, and I hear it again. And then I look at him, and he's not acknowledging anything. I go, "Dude, did you hear that?" Now I'm telling him, "Did you hear that whistle?" And he goes, "What whistle?" I didn't hear nothing. And he's the one next to the orchard, but I'm hearing it now. It's like Jesus is all, "Dude, I told you something's whistling. I told you I'm hearing some whistles." So that happened to us, and then after that, we ended up just wrapping it up and we took off.
Oh my gosh, there's a couple of different things a lot of different things that whistling could have been. Okay, I mean, I remember one time when I was down at my family's farm, and I had it was just me and my dog, and this house is notoriously haunted. Okay. My grandparents' home down in the middle of a farm in the middle of nowhere. And I was there alone. It had just gotten dark, and I heard somebody whistle from the front of the house where there's nothing there. It's just a big lake. Okay. And there should be nobody out there, but I heard a whistle. So I believe I just thought there was somebody there. I pretty much packed it up and left because I was like, all right, there's somebody out here. Okay,
Right.
there's a person. Made sure I was heavily protected, if you know what I mean, and got out of there because I thought there was someone there. But later on, when I was having this ghost box session with Christopher Moon, okay, talking to my passed over loved ones, a voice came through and said, "That was me that whistled at you." And yeah, it was apparently I had an attachment. Okay, and the guy was talking to me, and so anyways, it's a long story, so I'm not going to get into it, but that whistle was actually a spirit.
Okay.
Okay, and but it could be anything. And somebody in the chat a while ago had said something about whistling is Bigfoot talk, and then someone else had mentioned the gnomes and the trolls, the little people. It's not trolls, but the little people. Okay, are known for whistling as well.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that could have been, but however, it's unsettling when you hear a whistle that comes out of nowhere, like a disembodied whistle. Okay, it's not fun sometimes.
And it's what's weird was that he was hearing it at one location, but at another location I was hearing it. So, and he wasn't hearing it. So only one of us was hearing it at
Okay,
locations.
that's so interesting. That's so interesting because one of you was on the frequency, okay, and the other one may not have been. And it was only meant for one person to hear it, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I want to talk about these pterodactyls a little bit more because you've had your own pterodactyl sighting. Now, Eric made a good point. He said if you study what the Thunderbird looks like, it's a pterodactyl. Okay, that's like a Native American Thunderbird. Okay, and I can agree with that. Could be, but you've been getting recent sighting reports of pterodactyls in California. Tell me about it.
So when we had ours that year, I think it was 2019, I believe, when we had ours. It was me and Jesus at the same location where I had my Dogman encounter of all things. It was at the same location, that same turnout. And yeah, I mean, we it was at, the sun was barely going down. I had my spotlight and I was looking for eye shine and this little island in the Kings River. There's a little island there, these huge shrubs, and we think that little island, it's either a portal. We believe it's a portal. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. We believe that little island. There's something with that little island. So anyway, so I was with the spotlight, just scanning the area and that little area and trying to get some eye shine, see if something was in those shrubs. And like I said, the Dogman, I had my encounter there, so I have my head on the swivel every time I'm out there. I'm looking behind me and I'm doing this and I'm looking all over the place. And then I heard a yeah coming out of the island, and then I look, and sure enough, there's this bird coming out of these shrubs. So it's coming out of the shrubs, but I think because we do have some cranes out there, we have the bluish gray colored crane, and we have a white one out. So I thought it was one of those as it was coming out. Like I said, it was already getting dark, and I had the light on it, and I'm like I said, I turn around, I have my head on the swivel, and I told Jesus, dude, there's a bird coming out of the shrubs, and I let the light on. I'm over here looking behind me, and then Jesus says, dude, that's a big bird. And then when he said that, I immediately looked back and I made sure I had the light on it, put the light on it, and sure enough, now this bird, it has a long beak, and I mean long, and you can see scratches on this beak, and then it had a bone structure around one of its eyes. You can see it. It was coming. It was a big bone structure around its eyes, and then it had no feathers at all. And then when I put the light on, you can see it opened up its wings. And when it opened up its wings, it's like whoa, and it had the leathery bat type skin. That's leathery bat type skin. It did have like a little nub on the head, not a big pointy one, but a little nub. And when it opened up its wings, it had its back towards us, so it went real slow once, and it was off the ground, and then real slow again, and it was over the bridge heading towards the dam. It went up the river, and this thing was huge. It was massive. As it was standing, I want to say it had to be at least 4 to 5 feet tall as it was standing, and
That's
and the
cute.
and the
That's
wingspan, yeah, the wingspan was at least 12 feet long, at least.
12
Yeah.
feet is huge. Okay, so that's like it's gigantic. I'm trying to pull up a picture of a pterodactyl, okay, because I've gotten reports myself of pterosaurs, okay,
Mm.
which are basically they're pterodactyls basically. Okay, it's kind of the same
Right.
thing. They're
Right.
similar. Okay, they're in the same family. Okay, and I actually did a remote viewing target for, I think it was Jason McLean actually out of Texas. He had a pterosaur sighting of his own. I think it was back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
maybe the early 2000s. But they're spotted all over the United States, especially in South Carolina, North Carolina,
Hmm.
Georgia, Tennessee, Texas. Okay, those are some of the hot spots for these pterosaur sightings. But the way that you're describing it, it had like a bat wing, kind of like a
Okay.
bat wing. Because basically what they are, they're flying lizards.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
these are these are dinosaurs, basically.
Yeah, the
Um,
beak was at least 2 feet long, maybe more. It was long, and you could see scratches on it. And
you can see scratches on it.
yep, it had like
So
these
you
scratches on
can
the beak. Yeah. Um,
oh wow.
I didn't see a tail. I don't remember seeing a tail. I did see the feet were small. They're very small on the feet. Um, what else? Yeah, because like I
Mm.
said, we didn't see the underbelly. It had its back towards us when it flew off. But it did this loud screech, and now I remember what the screech sounds like. So now when I hear it, I don't know what it is, but it was like a yeah, it was different.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean this you never cease to amaze me with all these reports and the sightings that you have. I mean, there's no doubt there's got to be some kind of portal right there in that area.
It
There's got to
has to
be.
be something because I'm asking myself, well, where do these things go? Where are they going?
And
And
where are
then
they
the
coming
date,
from?
where are they going? And in that year I had my encounter, there was 4 sightings along the Kings River that year, and 2 of them were around my town because the Kings River runs through our town. So there were 2 sightings were near our town. So and I actually found a book. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's on my Facebook page. I had just recently shared it again. But that book talks about our town and mentions our town, Wheatley, and our county and the Kings River, and reports going back to the late 1800s of flying dragons. Used to call them flying dragons back then in the 1800s, and
Oh,
there's actually a news clipping from the LA area back in those days that they were looking for people to go and hunt these flying dragons up near Wheatley, California, which is our town, which was interesting.
well, so a long history of
Hmm.
stuff like this going on there. And what a coincidence. So I don't think there's any coincidence. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
that you're having experiences today, the same area.
Yep.
Hmm. Makes you wonder, or have these things always been here? Okay, have they always been here? Are they brand new to the area and people are just now seeing them? I mean, what has changed? Okay, where people are having a bunch of sightings now. They weren't
Yeah.
reported before. I mean, for a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see when we started our channel back then. I even felt like something's going on because there was a big uptick um, in the paranormal world, and then also in the cryptid world back then when we started. And I was talking to other groups, and they were seeing that too. Like there was a lot of more encounters were starting to happen, and something's going on ever since then. It's like a big old uptick. I don't know, like I want to say maybe CERN has something to do with it. When they turn that thing on, something
CERN,
happens.
CERN, we can just blame CERN for everything. I do.
Yeah,
I
There's
find
something with
myself
that.
I do say that. I know my friend Barry's always like, no, it's not CERN.
Well,
CERN, these things have
there's
been around forever, but there's something. I mean,
something's going on because you can see the uptick. You can see it.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So I don't know if anybody in the chat tonight's had any pterodactyl or pterosaur sightings. Y'all let us know, because and I see a lot of people connecting them to Thunderbirds. Okay, Thunderbirds, and I did kind of toss that out there back when I did that remote viewing target, because I believe when I was remote viewing it, the word Thunderbird did come up in my data. Okay, so then I was kind of putting it out there, like kind of questioning it, like, well, could this be what the Thunderbirds were? Could they have been pterodactyls and pterosaurs? But I felt silly saying that. But today I'm looking at the chat, I'm like, and what you're saying, I think it's kind of the consensus that this could be what the Thunderbirds were.
Okay, now Pictograph Mountain, there's a big image. I don't know if I ever sent it to you of a big thunderbird. There's a big old pictograph of a
I
big
think you
thunderbird
did.
on.
You did
Yeah,
send it to me. I've seen it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I
Hmm.
also thought, like, was it a thunderbird? I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking, were the natives seeing UFOs and were they making the thunder sound and they related to a bird when they saw a UFO? Maybe they call it a thunderbird. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Brown Door said he wants to hear you do that screech again, but he was just kidding. He said he was kidding. He's kidding.
real nice, BD.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the thing. What if we have like okay, this is so weird because I just picked up a folder that had Jurassic Park written on it right before the show today. Okay,
Okay.
tonight. And Jay Trueseeker, hey, okay, just like Jurassic Park. Okay, let's think about this for a second, because we've had velociraptor reports in the
Oh yeah.
Appalachian Mountains.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
if there's like a
I
Jurassic?
believe
What if we're living in a Jurassic Park right now? That's dangerous.
yeah. Actually, one of the movies at the very end, it shows a pterodactyl flying around Vegas, because
No.
they escaped. They escaped. So now they're all over the place. You got raptors running around everywhere. You got pterodactyls now everywhere. I mean, you never
Soft
know.
disclosure. Soft
Uh-huh.
disclosure. That's what
Yep.
that is. They're just letting us know. They got to tell us what's going on,
Uh-huh.
right? Uh,
Yep. That was kind of when I saw that, I was like, uh-huh. You guys are saying something, right? That these things are out there.
yeah, yeah. And Freaky Geek says, or when they are coming from when traveling via portal. Yeah, I mean, we need to. I say we need to take into account that there could be Earth's like natural portals that are opening and shutting. Okay, and these animals, creatures, dinosaurs, whatever these things are, they're accessing some of these portals potentially. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but it could. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Um, people wonder like, where did the Loch Ness monster go? Is there a Loch Ness monster? What if there's an underwater portal or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, have you done remote viewing on giants? I don't know if on the
oh
giants.
yeah, I've done
Just
I've done
giants.
I've done a few. Yeah, I've done a few on some of the giant sightings.
Okay.
I've been tasked with some targets of the sightings of giants. So, and I actually did a show the other day on the giants in stasis. It's alleged, okay, alleged. There's some giants, like red-headed giants, like even like Gilgamesh. Okay, it's supposed to have been found in a tomb, sitting there in stasis, like a stasis chamber. So I I think that there are giants. I mean, and you're out there in California under the mountains. There's probably all sorts of these bases. If we got clusters of missing people, there's no
Yeah.
telling what they got down there. Okay, who's to say they don't have giants down there?
Yeah.
Have you had a giant sighting?
Well, Pictograph Mountain, I don't know. There's something with that mountain. I feel like there might be a giant up in that area. I don't know, man. Something's telling me there's an upside down tree that we found up there. I mean, I've heard it could be associated with Sasquatch.
Yeah, that's Bigfoot. That's a Bigfoot
Yeah.
mo. Yeah, that's
Uh,
Bigfoot style right there.
yeah, we found one there. And there's also this big rock that looks like a chair, but for a giant, and it's looking down the valley. It's just
Ah,
yeah. I don't
okay.
yeah.
Well, that's actually just like Sukalu or Judaculla Rock in North Carolina. There's the story of Sukalu, okay, and there's Judaculla, which is actually a petroglyph. It's a giant rock which has petroglyphs all over it, like 100 or more. Okay, petroglyphs. Um, which I believe it tells the story of like the creation, like this, like Star Wars from the beginning, like because my friend Chief David, who took me there, he's Cherokee, and he's written a book on it. Okay, and he believes that he's descended from the stars, the star people. Okay, and this petroglyph, this rock with all the petroglyphs, are telling the story of coming from the stars. Okay, but they have this huge. It's like a rock formation that looks like they call it the throne, I think, and that's supposedly where Sukalu, the giant, which some say that it was a giant Bigfoot. Others say it was just a giant. I think it was a giant wild man personally, but it sat there right beside Judaculla Rock. I mean, it is probably about 50 yards from the Judaculla Rock. They have that throne there, and it's just in the middle of a cow pasture.
Huh.
But he sat there. That's where he would sit, and he would chase off the Cherokee warriors and the hunters that would come there to try to hunt that land right there. So I think it's. I don't think these are all just myths.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's some truth behind it.
Um, did I ever send you the footprint picture that we captured near Avocado Lake in the grass? Did I send you
Oh,
that
I
one?
don't know. I don't remember that one.
I might
I
have
don't
to
remember.
send you that one, but that was when we were starting our channel before the Dogman encounter, all around this Avocado Lake. Anyways, this particular area, I saw a structure across the road, and I ended up pulling over what I believe was a structure, like a Sasquatch structure, to check it out. And it was me and my cousin, and where we parked, there was a lot of grass, and a lot of grass was pushed down. And then there was this barbed wire fence. And I was looking at the structure across the street, and my cousin says, "Dude, there's something in this grass. Like, I don't know what it is, but it looks like something. There's like a print right here, but I don't know what it is." Well,
Um,
and we couldn't tell from, when we're at. So I told him, "Well, put your arm as high as you can, put the cell phone and take a snap at it, and then we'll check it out when we get back at the house." So he ended up doing that. He took a bunch of photos, doing as high as he could from the ground. And then we went on and went exploring the whole area, and then we went home. So when he got home, he ends up calling me 30 minutes later. He goes, "Dude, check this out. I'm gonna send it to you right now." So it was one of the pictures. You can see a big footprint, and it almost looks like it has 6 toes, but it's a huge print. And you can
Six
see,
toes, like
yeah,
a
and
Nephilim, like a giant.
yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, like a giant. It's a big print. I mean, I don't know how big. I mean, I've heard like Sasquatch get like the males get 15 feet, maybe a little bit taller. But
Six toes.
this is a huge footprint, and you can see the stake where the barbed wire and the stake. You can see it on in the picture, and you can get a reference. But it's a big print. I mean, a big print, and it looks like it has like 6 toes.
Okay, well, we've got all these videos coming out all over the internet, social media of reported giant sightings all over the world right now. And
Hmm.
people are reportedly, allegedly going missing after they show videos of these alleged giants on
Yeah,
top of the mountaintops.
yeah, I heard about
Okay,
that.
that guy out of I think it was in Canada, I think, was one of those guys. He ended up deceased from what I've heard. Okay.
Yeah, one.
He was followed and stuff. So the giant, for whatever reason, the giants are a touchy subject. Okay. They're a touchy subject with the powers that be or powers that were. I don't know, whatever
Mhm.
you want to call them.
Yeah,
Uh, so I don't know. Are the giants awakening? Are they coming out?
never know.
Everything is showing itself now, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, something's
Yeah.
going on. Something's happened.
Something's going on. Well, we got Lycans and werewolves in California. We've got dogmen. We've got S-walkers. Okay, we've got gnomes and trolls and
Yep.
little people. And
Yep.
speaking of little people, shout out to my friend Fred Roll. He's been in the chat tonight. Hey, Fred. Fred in Alaska was in here tonight, and he has been on the show. We talked about the little people in Alaska together, and that's one of my favorite topics. I think all of my topics are my favorite. Okay, but that was a really good one. Okay, that's a really good one. So shout out to Fred. Thanks for being here. Yeah, man. Wow. Well, yeah. For whatever reason, we're everything is being exposed. Okay, it's beautiful for us because here we are. We've been doing this research for long enough. Where back when I started my research, Javier, not a lot of people were into Bigfoot research. Okay, and they weren't into Bigfoot, and now there are way more sightings. Okay, the general public is way more comfortable with Bigfoot now. Okay, and so it's actually kind of good for us because now we're not just the crazy people that go in the woods on the weekends looking for Bigfoot. Okay, now there are actual sightings. There's actual shows on television about it, even with the Dogman phenomenon as well.
Right.
You know, so now we've experienced all this. Now we can sit here and talk about it, have a giggle over our experiences, and people can relate to us on it. You know, so I think it's a beautiful thing, and I do appreciate you sharing all of your experiences with me tonight.
Well, thank you for having me over, inviting me to be on your channel.
Well, of course. Well, I hope you're going to come back and and give me some updates. Like I love bringing you on to have updates because you do have your ear to the street. Okay, when it comes to the cryptids out there, and
well, I did want to say one more thing. We've been noticing here in the valley for the last 2 months this white orb. A lot of people have been seeing it. It's this white orb, really bright, and it has a cloud around it.
Oh.
It has this cloud around it, and people have been seeing it. Like I said, the last 2 months here. One of my friends actually caught it on video. I didn't ask for permission to show it, so I didn't want to. You know, unfortunately, I can't show it to you. But maybe another time I can show you that. But he did capture it on video, and I took a screenshot from his video, and I inverted it, and you can clearly see that there is something there. It is dark, and it's not a shape of a plane or anything. And when his experience, it was about 3 weeks ago, and it was around 10 o'clock at night. And when he saw it, and he said it was bright, it had a cloud around it, and he was observing it, recording it, and all of a sudden it just dimmed out. But people have been seeing this here in the valley for the last 2 months, and I don't know if it's our stuff, like government stuff, or is it something else?
Ew. I don't know. That's interesting. You're gonna have to keep me posted on that. We encounter a lot of orbs out in the field.
Okay.
I actually saw something very similar to that several years ago. It's been a while. Okay, and I think I was in the North Georgia mountains, and we had broken off into small teams. I went up to a field, one of the fields, and I saw what looked like the moon. Okay, it was almost like the moon. It had shown up out of nowhere over the tree line, and I had not really been paying attention. I guess, like I don't know. I just remember something showing up, and I literally thought it was the moon. Like maybe the clouds had parted, and I was like, oh, the moon's there. Okay, but then it slowly started to fall behind the trees. Like I compared it to like a flare gun. Okay, like when a flare's shot into the air and it kind of like gracefully falls down. To the ground like that, and this big gigantic orb just kind of floated down like it had been shot into the air and like just slowly drifted down. It was probably a UFO or something, I don't know, but it was a big orb. It looked like the moon to me because it was white. It was white, and it was kind of a foggy night a little bit, so it kind of sounds like what you're describing a little bit. So I think it was an orb. It didn't have any kind of sound to it or anything. So
in the video you don't hear nothing. There's no sound to it either. Nothing.
Yeah. A lot of this phenomenon doesn't have any sound. There's no engines running. Okay. There's no exhaust pipes, you know, or whatever. So man. All right. Well, golly. Well, I hope you know to stay safe out there. Javier, you and Jose and Jesus, and you're gonna have to tell them I said hello. Okay, I believe we had Jesus on the show with you, right?
Yeah.
We were at Space Out Radio, and that was a great show. So y'all go back and watch those shows from the past that we've done. There's a lot of good information in there. Javier, where can people find you in your YouTube channel?
YouTube channel is Cryptid559, and then on Facebook, Cryptid559. But the 559 is in Roman numerals. So just look for our logo, and then send me a friend request, and then I'll let you in. But,
okay? Is this it? Okay, I don't know if I wrote this right. Is it CVIX? Okay, Cryptid. Oh, I forgot to put Cryptid in front of it. Okay, so
yeah, that's it.
I was just trying to get the Roman numerals right. Okay, the way you do it. So, but that's it on Facebook. Cryptid. Yes, okay, and it's actually in lowercase. Okay, but but y'all get the picture. Okay, y'all get the picture. That's on Facebook. So yeah, and I think it's separated too. It's like Cryptid and then the number.
It's the way Facebook. I can't put 559 for some reason, so they don't let me put the numbers.
Oh, but you can put the letters. That was smart. That was really smart. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, y'all, everybody go subscribe to Cryptid559 on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. And if you're in our area in the Central Valley, California, near Fresno, if you've had an experience or an encounter with something that you want to talk about it, shoot us an email, cryptid559@gmail.com. We'll get back to you. Like Jessica said at the beginning, we won't give out your name. We won't share any of your information without your permission, and and we'll go from there. If you want to take us out to the actual location, that'll be awesome, so we can explore that area. That would be great.
Oh my God, I love that. I love it. I love how you investigate and you take some great reports. Okay, and so yeah, we'll do an update soon. Okay, we'll give it a little while, then we'll bring you back on with some more updates, because I don't know what is going on in your area, but man, between the missing persons clusters, probably some deep underground military bases, Dogmen, what do we call Lycans, Lycans and werewolves. I mean, the report, what you saw had on ripped shorts. Okay, so man, that's wild. I love it. Okay, so well, Javier, thank you so much for being here tonight, and
you're welcome.
It was awesome. It's always a good time, and you guys please come back and see me tomorrow night. I'll be at Spaced Out Radio tomorrow night. I got my buddy John, Dr. John Stamey, coming on. We're going to talk about UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff. Like it'll be a great show. So y'all come back 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific over at Spaced Out Radio tomorrow night. Okay, and you guys go over to Space Out Radio now. Go hang out with Mr. Rob G over there, and I know he's got a show going on tonight. So, all right, everybody, thank y'all so much for being here. Let me make sure I got everybody. And I want to thank my new member, okay, Miss Lenny. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member tonight. Oh, and Cat Chaser, I almost missed you. Okay, thank you for that super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys. Thanks to everybody for all your support and for everybody being in the chat. Y'all rock it out every single show. And shout out to all my mods. I saw y'all putting those links. So your links have been posted all throughout the chat tonight, Javier, too. So
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I have the best mods in the business. Okay, for sure. Okay, all right, y'all. Well, everybody, have a wonderful night. And I'm going to go put on some aloe vera. I saw that, Scott. I saw that comment. I'm going to go put on some aloe vera. I was at the lake today and I got sunburned. Okay, so I'm burning up. Okay, I can feel the heat coming off me. If you got a thermal out right now, it would be red hot. Okay, so but anyways, everybody, y'all have a wonderful night. Javier, have a great night, and I will see you back here next time. Okay, y'all stay safe out there. Keep your head on the swivel and lock your doors tonight. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. From the bottom of my heart, you guys. Happy Father's Day. You guys are very much appreciated and very much loved. Okay. All right, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we'll see y'all next time. See you, Javier. Bye.